Hello and welcome to our latest podcast in the Winter 2023 series for the Devon and Cornwall Record Society. My name's Catherine Ryder, I'm the honorary editor, and in a reversal of our usual interview, today I'm interviewing Todd Gray about his new book for the Society that's just come out, Devon Parish Taxpayers. And so Todd, could you tell me a little bit about the book, please?
Well, thanks, Catherine. It's a funny thing because we're in a series, of course, and this is the third volume, Devon Parish Taxpayers 1500 to 1650. We started out not knowing how long the series is going to be, and and then we realized no other county in England has tried to do this, and we're a big county, so we may be halfway through the series, but there are a lot of parishes in Devon with B, C, and D starting their name. So I think it's going to only be 5 volumes or so.
So this is 3 of 5.
Yeah. So what we're looking at is parish taxation, church rates, poor rates, Easter books, militia rates, hospital rates. And I think the overwhelming sense of it is you look at it and you see what must be thousands, many thousands of names. It is not the most interesting page turner there is.
No, I wouldn't say that.
One has to say it is a reference book, but a lot of these are things which people don't normally see.
Yeah, and there must be interest for family historians, all kinds of people who are interested in, the history of these local communities.
Yeah.
So what are the sources? Can you tell me a bit more about these rates?
Well, that's the funny thing. Rates aren't terribly well listed. So people will think, like with this one and with Ditsum, they'll be thinking, oh, I'll look and see a parish rate, and there aren't any. And what I've had to do is go through overseers of the poor accounts, church warden accounts. For Devon, there are boxes of church records which are unlisted. And I found, I think, about 40 unknown rates there.
Wow.
So there were low, including church warden accounts, which I haven't yet worked on. So there's a massive material which I've accessed. Devon at Barnstable, Plymouth, Exeter, Taunton, Truro, and in London, particularly the British Library, they all hold Devon tax material. So what's in the books are, I would have thought, half of the material no one has seen before because they didn't know it existed. And that's kind of exciting to bring out stuff like that. You think, whippy.
Yeah, and it must be a challenge in terms of the handwriting, in terms of the language, in terms of the format of these documents as well.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is how different they're done. And some parishes, the scribes are so good at what they do. And then you get the next one and it's so amateurish and poor. And then now and then they put these little marginalia pops up. And there's one fairly unpleasant one about women, and the Dartmouth one. And I thought, I suppose what he thought to himself was no woman was actually going to see this stuff. Women weren't allowed in as counselors, so they didn't have a look at material, so he could write what he wanted. But it is misogynistic.
I suppose also they'd be much less able to read. Some women could read, but
yeah,
he probably thought he could get away with it, as you say.
That's it. And of course, now you wouldn't see it. But when I looked at it, I thought, oh, God, he was taking a chance doing that. And then I thought, well, of course, he wasn't at all. I think he thought he was on safe ground. So I actually put that into the introduction because I thought it was important to note what goes on in the margins.
Yeah, and just those quirks of what different scribes are interested in and how they behave is interesting as well.
I mean, in the Dartmouth ones, they organize it, one of the rates, alphabetical. So we have these wonderful instances of calligraphy of what an A, what a B, what a C looks like. And of course, over a couple generations, it changes. So you have all this, and in some ways, I looked at it, I thought, oh gosh, they'd be beautiful to do in themselves. But of course, we don't have the liberty to reproduce dozens and dozens of documents as well. So it's just an addition.
Yeah, but it's valuable for that because it makes this material much more accessible than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And what surprised you doing it, apart from the sheer volume of stuff?
Well, I'm not going to talk about Crediton because Tony Gale has written up an introduction to the Crediton material, which is great because all those things, come across a rate for 1549 during the Prayer Book Rebellion, when of course Crediton was key, and they're repairing the church after the rebels left, which isn't known about. And I thought, well, that's really nice. But the surprising thing is Dartmouth. And with all of these rates, what comes out is how differently every community organizes itself. They have to provide for the poor and look after the church, but the mechanics of doing that, with some parishes having bread wardens or collectors for bread or distributors of bread, and other ones not doing it. But in Dartmouth, we've got 3 parish churches, whereas most communities have 1. Well, they've got 3. They organize each parish differently. One parish, there are no church rates. The town pays for everything. Well, no other place in Devon does that. They take the patronage of the churches from Tor Abbey so they can be independent. They get the water rights, which include customs, under license from the Duchy of Cornwall. So they're independent there as well. And in the middle of this period we're looking at, the Lord High Admiral sends an official to contest this in Dartmouth. And there's an actual fisticuffs going on in the town hall where people start hitting each other and pulling out swords and knocking each other to the ground. And the customs official takes umbrage at the mayor for wearing a hat in his presence and knocks his cap off and says, oh, you're a rogue to wear a hat when I don't have one. And the mayor says, off you go, and he puts him in jail. I mean, Dartmouth is a pretty lively place, but what they've managed to do is really be independent as much as they can, which is partly why they're so successful. And the thing which I just couldn't understand is at the start, and I've been looking at this for a while, why did it have 6 wards? Plymouth has 4, Exeter has 4, north, south, west, east. But as far as I can see, Dartmouth is the only place in the country to have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday ward. Why they have 6 and not 7, I don't know. Why they choose to name them after the days of the week, again, I don't know. And a ward is basically to, a way of organizing the policing of the town and working out the military capabilities of everybody, whether they have a bow or a sword or something. But what comes out of looking at rates, and this is the fascinating thing, and I just wonder how many historians have worked this out across the country. Looking at rates, you realize how each community organizes itself or gives clues to it. And it's been fascinating in 3 volumes as to how much that is opened up, how differently life is from one place to another. And if we have it in Devon, it's going to be like that across England.
Yeah.
So, that's my big major surprise, along with how tedious it was for 6 weeks to do the index of these thousands of names.
Yes, and then, other people will not know this, but then it all disappeared when your computer collapsed, didn't it? So then it had to be done again.
Oh, after 2 or 3 weeks of doing the main part of it, losing everything on the machine and starting again in those same names was soul destroying. But at least it's all done now.
It's all done. It's a great volume. So last question is, if you want to get a copy, how do you get a copy?
Well, this is the book itself. with a lovely copy of the map of Dartmouth on the cover. And Boydell and Brewer are our national and international book distributors. So anybody goes to the website there will instantly be able to order one. It's available in Devon through Stevens Books, through the Society, and then we'll be taking it to a launch in Crediton and another one in Dartmouth in the next few months, which are going to be on our website. And of course, our members have already had it. So hopefully it'll start to make a bit of an impact.
Yeah, so if you go on to Boydell, if you're not local to Devon, you can find that. You can find Taxpayers, Devon Parish Taxpayers 1 and 2 as well, if you want volumes 1 and 2 and everything else we publish. But thank you very much, Todd. It's really nice to have that kind of insight into the book and the editing process.
Well, thank you for your time. And well, we'll see everybody for our next podcast.
Thanks. Bye.